Mr. DJ back outsourcing Billboard's Hot 100 April 24th, 1965. I'm digging out those lost 45s, and boy, do I have one for you. Another one, another lost 45 at number 54, up three from 57. The new beats off the Hickory record label. The birds are for the bees. It started out as the bees are for the birds, and then the birds are for the bees. And it's kind of like the birds and bees and the flowers and the flowers of the trees by oh god, I can't even remember the guy's name, Jewel Akins, that was also on Billboard's Hot 100 at that time. But the new beats, the best known record was Bread and Butter. I like Bread and Butter. I like Toast and Jam around the spring of 1964. Again, coming out right in the teeth of the British invasion around the same time as I Want to Hold Your Hand, Can't Buy Me Love, I think. And I'm trying to think of that song by Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, Little Children Don't Tell on Me. For some reason, I always associate that song with Little Children, Bread and Butter, sort of childlike records in that sense, that same era. Now, here's the thing. There are three guys in this band. There's a trio. Larry Henley, the lead singer. You got to give it to Larry Henley. What a falsetto. This is a falsetto that could easily rival that of Frankie Valli. If you thought Frankie Valli had a falsetto, Larry Henley, my goodness. And as a matter of fact, they had two real big hits. It was Bread and Butter and Run Baby Run. And when I first heard Run Baby Run, and for years I thought it was a girl singing the record. No, it was a guy. It was Larry Henley singing Run Baby Run. Run Baby Run. God, that had a fantastic beat to it. It's all about the beat. 100% beat. Run Baby Run just went like a locomotion. That was a fun record to listen to. That came out back in the fall of 1965. The DJ coming out of me. Well, that's why I call myself Mr. DJ. Now, there was Larry Henley and there was Dean and Mark Mathis, two brothers, Dean and Mark Mathis. They played in Dale Hawkins' band back in the 50s for a couple of years. Of course, Dale Hawkins had that huge hit with Susie Q in 1957. I am curious if maybe Dean and Mark Mathis had played on that record, because that would be the first hit record they played on, and then they would play on the new beats. And after their stint with Dale Hawkins, Dean and Mark Mathis, they formed an 8-piece band in Shreveport, Louisiana, and that's where they met Larry Henley, and they formed the New Beats. They sent a demo of Bread and Butter to Hickory Records, and Hickory Records, they took a listen to Bread and Butter, and they said, man, this sounds good. Tell you what, why don't you boys come on down and do a proper recording of this song? They did. It was a million seller, Bread and Butter, and Run Baby Run was another. It went to number 12, Run Baby Run. That's really my favorite record. That's the song I get into by the New Beats. Couldn't get enough of that record, Run Baby Run. Now, here's an interesting thing about Run Baby Run. It went to number 10 in England in the early 70s. England had this Northern Soul movement that sprouted up in the early 70s, maybe in the late 60s, and they unearthed some of these singles, American singles like Run Baby Run, which became a hit in England in the early 70s. Larry Henley. Well, you just learn a lot of new things when you research. Larry Henley eventually left the New Beats to pursue a solo career, but he was a prolific songwriter. He wrote some country hit records. The biggest hit that he wrote, though, one of his biggest hits that he wrote, was The Wind Beneath My Wings by Bette Midler, although Gary Morris originally did that record in the 80s. And I just found this out about Larry Henley. Larry Henley wrote He's a Heartache, Looking for a Place to Happen. Remember that by Janie Fricke? Huge country hit by Janie Fricke back in the summer of 1983, co-written by Larry Henley. Well, here's Larry Henley and Dean and Mark Mathis, the New Beats, and the birds are for the bees are for the birds on Billboard's Hot 100, Lost 45, April 1965.